Guys, say hi to YouTube. Thank you. Shark says hi. Joe says hi. Sun says hi. Yippee! Chat, the question for the cards today, the general theme for the reading, is honoring the fact that tonight is a full moon in Scorpio. And in the spiritual world, when there is a full moon, what you are supposed to partake in is means of letting things go. It is a time to empty your cup. It is a time to let things go and move on from things to make room for good things and new things. So, in the spirit of that, the main question is, what do you need to let go of? We will first use the you know what? I'm not gonna disturb the pile. Chat. We are going to first use the Dark Mirror deck to know what two things. We're doing two things, chat. Two things, two cards from this deck. What two things you need to focus on letting go. We're going to then use my newest deck, the Diablo Tarot card deck, to figure out why these two things are your focus. Why are these two things the focal points that you should be letting go of, chat? We are then... If I can grab the boxes. I got them, chat. Okay, now that I have the boxes. We're then going to use the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck to look into advice for what the cards have for you on how to let go of things. And then we're going to use the Crystal Spirits Oracle deck to look into what strengths you should build on. These are typically new strengths or strengths that you just haven't really used a lot. Think of them as like, if we're playing a game and you're like level 50, but like your cooking skills are level 5, think about it as like something like that. Something where you might have knowledge in, you might have partaken in, but you haven't really strengthened it the way that everything else is strengthened in your character stats that you've had maxed out. That kind of thing, okay? And then we have one last card from the Energy Oracle cards that I like to use as messages from your spirit team, guardian angels, the world, the universe, your ancestors, whatever you'd like to call the people from beyond that are supposed to take care of you. So that is the flow of these pick-a-pile readings. Each deck, each pile has, again, the same amount of cards from each deck. So it's not like one pile gets more than the other. Each pile is evenly dispersed. So chat, this is your time now to actually take a look at the piles and pick. Group 1 is Bunnie. Group 2 is Notebook. Group 3 is Lucky Bag. I would like for you guys to lock in now and claim your pile in the chat so that you are going to be hard committed to your pile. All right, I think I am ready to go. So, Bunnie group, assemble. If you picked group 1, the Bunnie, aka Bunnie from Animal Crossing, this is your reading. This is your what do you have to let go of? It's time for me to kick your butt. With love, of course, okay? I'm not here to be malicious. I'm not here to be mean. I'm here to just tell the honest story of the cards and let you know it's time to give up hiding your true self. And it's time to let go of your anger and chains. Chat, we are no strangers to these cards. I'm also going to just kindly get rid of that for now. And also maybe the Spotify. Boop. Now we'll do this. There. Better. Okay. Sorry about that. So, chat, we have hiding your true self and anger and chains. Okay? So if you're going to ask me what is it that you need to let go of, you quite literally need to stop hiding your true self. I am getting the sense that the people in the group Bunnie or group 1, same thing. I'm getting the sense that group Bunnie has a tendency to hide who they truly are. You guys, excuse me, most likely struggle with a lot of brain worms socially, and therefore you withhold on who you are and how much of what you show of who you are to other people. So I think a lot of you need to start owning up to who you are, because who you are is a lovely person, okay? In terms of anger and chains, maybe there is some sort of anger towards yourself, right? Maybe we've been told by people that are not kind that we are too much, that we are too loud, that we are annoying, that we are too anxious, too depressive, too something negative, right? Too melodramatic, too dramatic, etc., etc. So, whatever anger it is that we're feeling, whether it is the cause as to why we hide ourselves, or if it's the byproduct as to why we hide that's come about hiding ourselves, either way these two are connected, and we need to address an anger, a rage that feels so heavy that it is our ball and chain. It is keeping us from the good in life. It is keeping us from the next chapter of our life. And also, we need to start showing who we are and being comfortable with who we are, and just honestly a lot of self-acceptance and self-love. So, for those of you who have Bunnie, and for those of you who are wondering why is this your focal point for you for Scorpio full moon, let's get into it. We have the King of Wands reversed from the Diablo deck. I'm going to actually start compiling these. We have the Seven of Pentacles upright, and then we also have Justice upright, okay? So, what this is telling me in terms of why you are being called to tackle these issues in specific is with the King of Wands. This is hilarious because we're talking about anger and chains here. And the King of Wands, literally, the book is referencing King of Wands as being somebody with a bad temper. Life is tired of you being somebody who is angry. We need to find our peace. King of Wands in reverse also harkens to overbearing ways and self-centeredness. And this is really interesting because we have a group that is hiding their true self, and then we have the King of Wands that harkens to self-centeredness. So when I hear self-centeredness in specific, I don't get the sense that it's all about you, me, like that you care only about yourself and you don't care about others. I think self-centeredness in this context ends up displaying in a way of like, I am the bad luck. I am the reason why people suffer. I am the reason why people have a bad life. I am the reason why those around me like have a bad day. I'm the reason why people get miffed. Like, and that's kind of the odd self-centeredness, is like you take the blame when there is no blame to be assigned. And so when I say this, I say this with all the love in my heart. The self-centeredness, you're giving yourself too much credit for something you're not actually doing. You are not causing people to be pissed off at you. You're not you're not causing people to have bad days. You're not causing people's moods to turn sour. You're not the reason why things are not going well for other people. Stop taking that blame. Stop assigning it to yourself. When it comes to bad temper, obviously, you got to work on it. You got to work on the anger. You got to work on whatever anger you hold internally, because if the bad temper is being brought out externally, it's because you're mad at yourself, and you really need to take a step back and figure out why it is you are mad at yourself, because it's starting to reflect on your relationships because you're taking it out on other people. Whether these people are close to you or people that you work with, it's not their fault that you are quick to temper and quick to anger. So we need to look inside and address what that is. Again, the other thing that King of Wands also represents is a sense of being overbearing, having overbearing ways. So if you're asking me why is this your focal point, it's because you need to stop being so overbearing. I don't know in what way you are being overbearing or not. I don't know if you're being a helicopter co-pilot, a helicopter, or when I say co-pilot, I mean like coworker, a helicopter partner, a helicopter parent, or just like whatever it is you're being too much of and you need to let go. When it comes to Seven of Pentacles, why are these two things your focus? The Seven of Pentacles is asking you to basically, it's time for an assessment. This card stands for investment, assessment, and it's sustainable results. So it's not so much that it's asking you to basically get money and make money, because for those of you who are familiar with tarot, you'll know that Seven of Pentacles is very much the card of like fruits of your labor type of thing, and like money is around the corner. But we're not talking about money. We're talking intrinsically about the journey of letting these things go. So it is quite literally time for you to assess everything that's going on in your life. And it's time to start investing in your well-being. It's time to start investing in yourself. It's time to start taking care of yourself. And it's time to do so with the intention of having sustainable results that you can continue to replicate over and over and over and over and over again in the future. Like this is it. Like if you're asking me why Seven of Pentacles is here, why, like what is the purpose of why? It's time for you to take a good look at why this is happening so that you can end it and you can move on from it. Because you deserve some goddamn justice. Inner calling, awakening, redemption. That's what justice represents from this deck specifically. So why are these your focal points? Because it's time for you to move on from them. It's time for you to be a different person. It's time for you to have an awakening. It's time for you to redeem yourself to yourself. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I feel like sometimes as our own worst enemy, we never give ourselves the opportunity to redeem ourselves in our own eyes, right? We're always going to think negatively about ourselves. We're always going to be the biggest enemy. We're always going to be a bitch to ourselves. We're always going to talk down to ourselves. And I'm not asking you to switch that 180 and be an absolute cocky asshole. What I'm asking you to do, or at least what I'm translating from the cards for you to do, is to start being fucking kind to yourself and like acknowledging the redeeming qualities that make up you and how you're such a great person. You know what I mean? We're not perfect. We're not meant to be perfect. Don't strive for perfection, but strive to be the best version of yourself, even if that means only giving 10% on the hardest days. You know what I mean? So stop being so hard on yourself. For our advice, I have pulled Will-o'-the-Wisp, Treasures Hidden in the Shadows, Overflow, Overwhelm and Plenty, Joyful Muse, Inspiration, and Unmarked Trail, Revelation. Now, this is where I have to get out the book because I wasn't able to finish my note-taking regarding all of these cards. So, chat, if you could gather around for a good reading, I shall read from the book for you, chat. We have card number 62, Will-o'-the-Wisp. What advice does Will-o'-the-Wisp have for you today, chat? Will-o'-the-Wisp hovers in her luminescent glory above the twilight moons of your life, whispering for you to step into the fog, into the mystery, into the unknown. You have been visited by her before, but though intrigued, you refused her invitation. It would be safer, you decided, to remain on the journey you know. While you have always had a choice as to whether to follow her or not, you never knew when you might encounter her again. In this sense, turning away has its own consequences. Why is the known so appealing? It's only when you wake up to its restrictions, its soft prison of the golden cage, that you realize that there must be more to life than this. Will-o'-the-Wisp has come to you once again to offer you magic, but you will have to sacrifice certainty in the pursuit of adventure, your comfort zone for the dangers of discovery, your well trodden path for the detours that may very well lead you astray. Or will they? Can you accept that losing yourself will bring you closer to your true self? The profound shift of an epiphany can only occur when you risk the detour and enter the unknown. Now is the time to trust higher forces to lead you into this place, these worlds hidden at their threshold between what was and what can be. Here is where you will learn about your own unmaking, to unmask yourself, love what you discover, the dark and the light. See it all as divine and find a quiet thrumming power waiting for you to channel it into the world for good. The treasure you find, filled with the wealth of love and kindness, true prosperity, is ripe to share with others. She is here for you for now. Will you accept her invitation? A great bounty of goodness awaits you. So, if you're going to ask me what the hell the will of the wisp means, it is basically saying that this isn't your first time in the rodeo here, okay? You've been down this path before. And this will o' the wisp is, in a sense, the turning point for you. This is the fork in the road for you. This is your chance to continue down the same path you are familiar with, the devil you know. Or do you decide to take the road not yet paved and take a chance on getting out of this fucking rut, right? Getting out of this fucking shit, right? Because I'm getting the sense that y'all have been here for quite some time. This isn't new. This is old news. I'm pretty sure Group 1 is probably rolling their eyes at me when I'm saying all this stuff because they've been here for quite some time. And it's time for y'all to leave. It's time for y'all to take a leap of faith and go with Will o' the Wisp and take a chance on something new, even if you don't know what's on the other end. In terms of overflow, overwhelm, and plenty, so many good things are headed to you right now. You may or may not be thinking that they're not possible or that you're not worthy of them. Abundance is everyone's natural state before we project our own restrictions on it, defining what it means, who has it, who gets it, and so forth. Right now, take yourself out of your conditioning and look at your life through the eyes of plenty. There is much beauty and much love. Opportunities divine, synchronicities destined to support your dreams abound and are lined up for you. Yet it's sometimes difficult to discern it all because you're bombarded with too much information and stimulation distracting you from the truth that all is well. Sometimes all this overflow can be overwhelming, and you may find yourself responding with empathy overload. Empathy overload occurs when you tune into the collective angst and fear about impending changes and uncertainties. It is unmanageable. You feel like you're drowning in these emotions. It's time to allow yourself to detach. Bring yourself back to your life. Restore your faith in a power greater than you and remind yourself to focus on your smaller personal universe, which is much easier to manage. In this way, you know that you are conduits for life's blessings and can share them with others, making this perception of overflow profoundly positive. Chat, stop letting all of the negative Nancys in your life, whether they are directly in your life or indirectly in your life, aka the social media, the news, everything you see in your algorithms. It's time to let that go, and it's time for you to stand in your own life and focus more on, quite literally, the world of your life without the angst and without the negativity, without the drama from outside sources. Okay? Joyful Muse. Inspiration, aka our cat with glasses that's playing a violin and has paintbrushes. The gift of play, inner child. The joyful muse invites you to be more playful, to have more mirth and joy in your life. You have become boring to yourself, even as others continue to find you interesting. Circumstances have dulled your edge, and it's time to change. Not the things around you, but your attitude. Blow a morning kiss to yourself in the mirror. Smile to a stranger. Wink to a child. Be mildly but elegantly inappropriate. The joyful muse is a source of inspiration, a wild and disruptive feminine force that compels you to invite more pleasure and delight into your life. Give yourself permission to be mischievous and find the humor in the tragedy while careful not to become frivolous. The power of this muse will shake up everyone around you and invite you to create beauty and grace out of the pain and tragedy you perceive in areas of your life. The joyful muse often comes at a time when darkness prevails and the future seems dour. Embrace her gifts, being playful without being silly. Invite the child inside you to come out to play for a play date, and he or she will help you to return to your innate innocence, the place of never been there, never done that. Even if it's the same routine you wake up to every morning. It's time to heal your inner child. Quite literally, you have become a fuddy duddy adult, and it's time to heal your inner child. Instill the joyfulness, the playfulness that you've once had in your current life back into your current life. Unmarked trail, revelation, an unprecedented experience, discovery and revelation. You are called now to embark on a sacred journey. The Arthurian knights, in their quest for the Holy Grail, had to make sure to take an unmarked trail that no one had ever followed, or they would not accomplish their goal. Likewise, you must enter the darkest forest of your soul via a route yet to be identified to find what you seek. The manicured paths will bring you only temporary pleasure and later greater pain. Stop it! You already know there is no reward at the end of the road you are following. You're only killing time. Pause, breathe, and commit in your heart to a sacred endeavor. Vow to not look for old solutions that may have worked with past challenges. Get out of character. Try the outrageous and keep your quest private. Now is not the time to speak of the voice that called you to embark on the unmarked trail. That time will come later. The unmarked trail can be a sign that you have already made a choice, even if you do not want to acknowledge it. Be at peace with what your heart knows to be true. Your heart has already been, quote unquote, made up, and your mind will follow. Pack lightly, taking with you only the essential beliefs that you know to be trustworthy under all circumstances, and know that the universe has your back. Yeah, chat. It's time. It's time for my group ones, for my bunnies. It's time for you to quite literally embark on your journey into the unknown and deal with the unknown. For this is something that you have been dealing with consistently. It is something that you have not, it's not a new struggle. It is a consistent struggle that you are very much aware of. And what strength should you tap into? What strengths should you develop during this time? Let me take some water and we'll get into Moonstone and Seraphos Green Quartz. It's quite one hell of a name. All right. So, for group one, what strengths to build on? We have Moonstone and Seraphos Green Quartz, aka just Green Quartz for short. The moonstone is asking you to build your intuition, trust your inner wisdom, lean on your inner voice, and gain as much insight as you can. Um, it asks questions like, have you honed your intuition at all? Do you even trust it? You might be somebody who's very logical and tends to rely on your logical, physical analysis, but you need to start trusting your intuition, your gut. You need to start listening to it and not having to worry about not being able to explain everything about why you're feeling a certain way. Because sometimes we feel a certain way with our gut that we can't explain until later on, and then we realize, oh crap, we were right. So and so was a really good person, or so and so was a really bad person. I might have not been able to tell you why before or reason it, but now I do. Now I know. So it's time for you to start trusting your intuition. Stop trying to analyze everything logically and know that sometimes we're not always supposed to be able to analyze why we feel the way we do. And that's okay. For green quartz, this is really interesting because the book said life on life's terms, what is meant to be, acceptance of our place in the world. Acceptance leads to the most important thing, the gift of now. Surrender to the present, open your heart, and release the need to hide your true self, and release the anger that has become your ball and chain. Because once you are able to release those things, something wonderful is waiting for you on the other side. So, if you're asking what strength to lean on for the green quartz, it's very much acceptance of the now and living in the present. No longer attached to the past, no longer worried for the future. But what is it that you can do now? What are the things that you can enjoy presently? So focus on the now and focus on building your intuition and trusting your gut. Now, for the last card of group 2, this is the card that I have basically channeled as message from your spirit team. What does group Bunnie have to know about their journey? To that, we've got the thinking woman. And quite literally, this can be one of two things. This can just be a feminine energy and kind of getting more in tune with your emotions and your understanding of your emotional self and a deeper understanding of yourself through a more feminine energy. But it could also quite literally be a woman who is going to help mentor you. So it's this, your spirit team in general is telling you to get ready for a higher understanding of like who you are and why you do the things that you do. Work on expressing and understanding your thoughts and feelings. If this does end up manifesting as a person, it could be a woman, it could be somebody who embodies mostly feminine energy, whether that's a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. It's just feminine energy. And this woman could, or this feminine energy could very much be the one who's supposed to help you learn how to express and understand yourself on a deeper way. The book quotes that they quite literally, like, life is bringing you a teacher that'll help take you to your next chapter in your life. This could or could not actually be a love interest for you. So, congratulations to those of you who might find love on your journey of learning to heal and break out from this pattern you've been stuck in for quite some time. At the least, you can at least expect that if it is a person, they have good intentions to genuinely help you. There is no malice in their heart. Lastly, the book says, be ready to find clarity and blossom into your new self. So, yeah. It is time. But group one, that is your reading. Sorry for the bullying, but good luck. All right, group two. My group who's picked the notebook. Let's get into it. Black flower fragrance. Queen of my world. Don't shoot the messenger. Group two. Don't shoot the messenger when I say this. But you have quite some angst, quite some anger. You are literally, it's me against the fucking world and fuck the world. It's very much what black flower fragrance represents. If you look at the card and its actuality and the visualization of it, it's very much like these black rose petals are bursting forth from your chest, aka your heart, or the card, right? There's thorns that are also vining out as well, and there's just not a lot of happiness going on. There is a lot of anger. In fact, this card specifically represents the grieving stage of anger. So there's a lot of anger towards outside forces, aka the world, aka society, aka other people, to the point where it's becoming a detriment, and you might just be a very pessimistic person now about it. Queen of my own world. To no surprise, for those of you who have the it's me against the world mentality, it doesn't surprise me that you're also paired up with Queen of my world. The card has this woman dressed in red in a world quite literally stuck in a blizzard. She is the only color here, and everything else is dying because it's winter. The reason why this doesn't surprise me is because the Queen of my own world card is very much somebody who has all of the walls metaphorically, all of the metaphorical emotional mental walls, all of the metaphorical defenses for their emotional well-being and their mental well-being are up and on high alert. You don't let other people in, and for those that you do let in, they are on surveillance. And the minute they fuck up, is the minute they're absolutely thrown out and discarded to the outside, because I am the queen of my own world, so says this card. And if you dare go against me, you shall face my wrath. So there's a lot of anger going on here. There's a lot of, this is very much like Elsa letting go, like the song. You know what I mean? So this is also, and if it's not anger related, it could be very much that you've just been hurt far too many times and you really have a hard time letting people in. The reason why I say this could be paired up with anger is because this card is basically nothing but anger. Plus, there's also the color red, which can also implicate to anger. It can also represent that this is the only way you feel powerful, because psychology, the color of red is a powerful color, quite literally represents power. And if this is your own inner world, this could be the one place where you feel a sense of power, is very much behind your walls and your defenses and to not letting people in. So this is not a healthy way to go about your relationships, as it's very much kind of like a wounded animal approach, right? Where we've been hurt before, we don't want to be hurt before, we want to be strong, we want to be powerful. And in order to feel that way, we have built our walls 1,000 feet high and riddled with all the defenses in the world. So we are going to talk about why these are your focal points to let go of. Using our Diablo deck, we have the Magician upright, we have the Two of Wands in reverse, and last but not least, we have the Queen of Swords in reverse for my notebook people. So why is this your focal point for your Scorpio moon, Scorpio full moon, and to why you should let these things go? So The Magician upright is interesting because the Magician upright is actually a positive card. And so when I interpret this as why you should let these things go, because it's almost like this could be you, but you're too busy being angsty in the world and you're too busy hiding behind your castle walls, okay? This could be you, the masterful, the resourceful, the skillful, the powerful, but you're stuck being angsty and you're stuck behind your walls. This could be you, but you playing. So, what I feel like is going to end up happening when you tackle these things, when you stop repeating the pattern of these two lessons and you let these things go, you will become somebody who is powerful. You will become somebody who is resourceful. You will become somebody who is skillful. You think you are powerful now, but just wait until you actually process the hurt and the pain and you forego the need of the 10 bajillion feet tall walls and the bajillions of defenses that you have set up. The Two of Wands in reverse. Why are these two things a focal point for you now? Because you lack vision, you are confused, and you are very indecisive right now. That is what the Two of Wands in reverse stands for. Is confusion, indecisiveness, and a lack of vision. And I mean, to be fair, when you're angry at the world and so you've decided to, whether because of pain or because of anger, hide yourself from the world, yeah, you lose sight of your ability to see beyond your immediate castle walls. Indecision, you probably no longer even decide certain things. You just let the Queen of My Own World and the Flower Fragrance card decide for you, which I feel like, is indecision in its own way because you're not actively choosing to do something else. You're not actively choosing to challenge yourself. You're not actively choosing to challenge doing stuff the other way. You know what I mean? You're very much just like, I'm just going to keep doing these things and hide behind my castle walls, whether it's because I'm angry or because I'm sad or because I'm hurt. So, but then you're like, this is interesting because we have also confusion here. And the interesting thing that I'm getting from these two cards with the notebook, because the notebook has a relatively soft design and a soft feel for it, and it's small. So, like, for those of you who have picked the notebook, I'm getting the sense that you would prefer to be soft. And so you're kind of like creating this cognitive dissonance between yourself because you're like so angsty, so angry, so very much fuck other people, but you want the connection. But you're not giving yourself the room to have the connection. Also, I'm going to change the song. Okay, you know what? We're going to actually go completely into a controlled playlist for vibes. Persona 5 music. No, you love this song? That's too bad. Hi, Moira. We're doing pick a pile readings. So we had group 1, Bunnie. Now we're on group 2, the notebook. So, as I was saying, I feel like there's confusion here for the notebook group because as much as you want to be soft and you want to connect with people, your current choices are being exactly the opposite of what you desire. You desire closeness, you desire love, you desire companionship, you desire, whether it's platonic or romantic companionship, right? But you've built up a bajillion feet tall walls around you with a bajillion defenses attached. So, of course, your brain's going to be fucking confused. Like, what the hell do you want? You want connection, yet you want safety. Well, guess what? You can't get connection without being vulnerable. Take thine walls down and share. So, Queen of Swords in reversed. Your last, why is this your focal card? Focal points, excuse me. Queen of Swords, critical thinker, cruel spirit, bitterness. So while critical thinker can be a good thing and is a good thing, I'm getting the sense that critical here is like the negative connotation of critical. Like you're being very critical of yourself, you're being very critical of others. You're not critically thinking like problem solving in the positive way. You're being critical about yourself and you're being critical about others. And the criticalness is probably what's causing you to be also bitter. So, and it's funny because this card also represents bitterness, which aligns to the whole angsty, angry at the world card. And cruel spirit. I don't have much that I necessarily want to say about the cruel spirit part because, quite frankly, the cruel spirit part I feel like is these two things combined. Like it's just telling you that this is what you're like to other people. I feel like you come across as cruel, critical, and bitter. Maybe you even feel that way about yourself, but you're not supposed to be. That's why we're focusing on this, is because you're not supposed to be critical of others. You're not supposed to be so critical of yourself to the point where it's deprecating. You're not supposed to be so cruel to the point where it's deprecating. You're not supposed to be bitter. You're supposed to let these things go and move on. Process, okay? So for your advice cards, we have beloved, radical acceptance, shocker, eyes of the eagle rising above the fray, dust devil moving out of stagnation, also to no surprise, and falling angel, spiritual narcolepsy. So we're going to have to read from the book from these cards because I was not able to take notes prior to our reading and analysis. So stay with me, chat. Beloved, the object of affection, radical acceptance, loving what is. When the beloved appears, it requires 100% of your heart, body, and soul. Don't try to squeeze the beloved into your schedule. Drop the busyness and receive the one you have been waiting for. Know that this card comes as a mirror to show you the divine within and invites you to radically accept everything you consider beautiful or ugly in your being. The beloved may not be a person at all. It might be a business venture, a project, or an adventure calling for your full attention. Love it. Let it light you up and give it all and give it your all. Surrender to this truth and know that you are gaining a passport to bliss, even when it feels that you are being consumed by the fire of the beloved. Do not hold back or be afraid, for you will emerge transformed. Surrender is the key. Allow yourself to be loved. Usher the harsh critic out the door and shut your eyes and ears to the judgment of others who have not been ignited by the divine blaze consuming you, for they will only attempt to douse your fire and leave you choking on the smoke. Be careful you are not seduced by the false promises or falling prey to your extraordinary ability to sabotage your dreams and desires. Sink with and sink into your heart and trust your sense of what is true, and you will know what to do. The true beloved is never false. Every gift proffered is valuable. Recognize the many faces of the beloved and welcome them into your heart. You will be so glad you did. Joe, I see that no. You best turn that no into a yes, my good sir. It is time to accept yourself. Radical acceptance. It is time to love thyself, accept thyself, all the bad, the good, and the ugly, because that is what makes you the great person of who you are. Don't encourage it. I swear, mods. Can't believe you've done this. We have Eyes of the Eagle. Protection, inherent trust, and rising above the fray. The eyes of the eagle offers you the gift of foresight, the skill of looking ahead to see what is unfolding of destiny before it all manifests to reality. The eagle's extraordinary vision allows it to spot the tiny mouse from its lofty perspective as it flies thousands of feet into the atmosphere. In a similar fashion, you too can train your keen eye to discern the workings of humans. Eyes of the Eagle is an invitation to witness the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful, yet react to nothing. Act only to further your noblest calling. The eagle flies above all creatures. When it is when it when it meets obstacles, it simply rises above them. Know that you are protected. You can fly high above the judgment slings and arrows and the darts of envy from others who may not yet have your great wings and are still arguing with the pigeons over the crumbs. Trust that you are ready for whatever fortune has placed before you. Even if you feel not yet properly equipped to meet its challenges, your willingness to say yes to spirit has nothing to do with how well outfitted you are. Hesitating, on the other hand, will suck the air from under your wings and make you lose altitude. You are called now to trust your heart and your instincts, to move fearlessly and not waver. The time is right, and no harm can come your way if your motives are pure and you act courageously. All right, let's see what Dust Devil is about. Dust Devil. Embrace the chaos. Trust in the process. Moving out of stagnation. The presence of the Dust Devil causes a ruckus. Some people are afraid of his chaotic nature, believing that he comes in to intentionally stir things up. The truth is, you can't expect this dream alley to behave, to bring the niceness, to be clean. His power is in the mess he creates as he calls for you to engage in the full cyclone of life. He represents two aspects to you now: the winds in your outer life appearing to throw you off course, where you assume the world is coming at or happening to you, and the winds that churn inside of you, with the dust devil arising from your dreamscape to help you escape your invisible chains that shackle you to a barren desert. Stop asking for things to be perfect. Awaken. Messy, conflicted, exuberant, and wild is how you shift. Trust this process. The dust devil knows what you need and when you need it. Once things settle, you will see the gleaming jewels awaiting your discovery, the wisdom awaiting integration. Chat, healing is not a linear journey. Healing is not linear, it's not clean, it's not easy, it's not neat, it's messy. And as long as you keep doing what you need to do in order to heal, you will reap all the benefits. You just need to keep going. Even if life punches you a few more times, keep going. Falling angel, falling unconscious, spiritual narcolepsy. You're being cautioned now to not fall asleep or go unconscious. You have been flying above the strife and suffering of the world in angelic bliss. However, you risk being seduced by the beauty and comfort of your situation and losing track of your aspirations, aka your wings. As you fall, you pick up speed, heading toward the trees below and a possible nasty landing. Remember that all you need to do to stop being a falling angel is spread your wings to halt your descent and then find an updraft again. Do not be seduced by the fallen angels, your supposed friends and companions who are ready to use you for their pleasure and have only their own interests in mind. As you soar once more in flight, receive the gift of the falling angel as an invitation to study the forest from above the trees. In other words, to analyze your situation from a higher perspective, without being entangled in its thorny branches. Once you understand what needs to be done, head back to your lofty heights and stand by for the right moment. Actions you take now may backfire. Stay conscious and wait until you are guided to change. You will know when the time is ripe. Ooh. Interesting, interesting. What strengths you need to build on are pink sapphire and blue lace agate. Agate? Agate. I don't feel like I'm saying that correctly. Sorry. Sorry, YouTube. Don't butcher me for that. Blue lace agate. Agate. So, agate, you think? Agate. Thank you. You weren't here when the pick a pile happened, so you've been taking in parts of all of them. LMAO. Ooh, not bad. Not bad. Agate. Okay, gotcha. Thank you, chat. Thank you. Thank you. So, when it comes to pink sapphire, the strengths you're supposed to build right now is actually a sense of forgiveness, letting go, choosing to heal, acceptance, and soothing your heart. The book specifically says forego the law of karma for now. Karmic justice isn't your concern, nor should you be the one to deal it. Focus on healing yourself. Your willingness to heal is very important. Let go of your past self and your past pain. It's not to say that you should forget it, but you should move on from it. Walk through the fire of the unknown, and the pain you will experience will help you steal the new version of yourself. Let go of the urge to relive the past in an attempt to control and heal, because reliving the past is not going to actually help you heal. It is definitely your time to heal. It's definitely your time to focus on healing. And if healing involves having a good cry, then cry. Hi, newbie. Welcome on in. So, yes, I do find it quite iconic that the people who are angry with the world and who have locked themselves up behind their walls have to focus on healing themselves and learning the power of acceptance and forgiveness. Keep in mind, forgiveness doesn't mean going up to the people that hurt you and saying, I forgive you. That's not what forgiveness means. That's a literal sense. That is not the spiritual sense. Forgiveness is letting go of the pain and taking back your power. Forgiveness is being able to not let them have the power over you, even though they are no longer here in the present with you. When it comes to blue lace agate, peaceful acceptance, stress-free, freedom from unnecessary dramas. You are not too old. You are not too stuck in your ways. There is always time to change. You are not too anything because you are, in fact, enough. Transform, change, adapt, even if it's at a snail's pace. Flow with the river. Avoid fighting the flow and adding stress to your journey to heal. Embrace change openly. Yeah, you guys literally got double acceptance. You guys need to start learning the skill of acceptance and building on that strength. Especially like acceptance towards the self, right? Because we're not going to be a perfect person. We're going to be a villain in somebody's story eventually. We're going to always hate somebody or be mad at something or be upset about something. And like to accept and move on is so much better than to hold on, because then you're just stifling your own joy. You're living in the past and you're still letting the people of the past have power over you in the present by letting them still make you pissed, by allowing them to still make you sob and by allowing them to still make you sad in the present day, even though they are no longer around, whether that's like in actuality because they've passed away or because you've just separated and you've set boundaries and you don't communicate with these people anymore. The fact that if they still make you mad to this day, if they still piss you off, if they still make you sad, if they still make you cry, that means they have power over you and you need to take your power back. You need to accept the fact that whatever. And accepting doesn't mean allowing it to happen again. Accepting it is just being able to move on. How do you not let them affect you anymore? I mean, I can't, when it comes to advice on that, I can just say what's worked for me. And quite frankly, when I realized that me still being sad by some of the things they said means that they have power over me, made me pissed to the point where I was like, all right, I'm gonna fucking go to therapy and heal. I'm gonna journal and heal because fuck you for having power over me in present day. You're not in my life anymore. You know? Like the audacity you have to still have power over me. Like, no, that's my power. I want my power back. I don't want you to have any power over my emotional well-being. Like, I just got pissed at it. You know what I mean? And for me, my breaking point is being pissed. So, like, once I get pissed, then I change. Then, like, you know, assuming that I'm, like, stuck in a rut. The thing that gets me out is not necessarily always, like, a great sadness. It's most of the time a great pissiness. A great anger. A great sense of, I want this back. So, and I want this back as in I want my own power back. So, plus, like, if you think about it logically, why keep giving somebody who's no longer in your life power over your present day? That kind of sucks. Like you can't, if somebody in your past who's no longer here in the present still has power over you and makes your days shitty, think about how you can't enjoy the present day. Think about how you can't enjoy your present moments. Think about how you can't enjoy certain things anymore because of their influence and they're not even here. Like for me, a lot of my issues have come from past lovers being really shitty and verbally abusive. So that fucked up my relationships, you know? And I, quite frankly, fuck them. You know? I deserve to have happy and healthy relationships. Fuck them and their stupid ass shits. Just because they're so insecure that the only way that they felt like they could keep me in a relationship was to literally be an asshole to me and to destroy my confidence in myself. And that's the only way that they felt secure in our relationship. Bruh. I'm not letting you make me feel like a piece of shit in my present day. I'm not allowing those brain worms to come in and fester in my current relationships or my future relationships, whether they're platonic or romantic. I deserve to have happiness. I deserve to have a healthy relationship. I want those things for myself. And that's not coming from ego. That's from not having them in the past. That's from me doing the work. That's from me going to therapy. That's from me wanting to genuinely change and no longer be shackled to my past. You think it's a strong desire that gets you out of ruts personally, right? And for me, that strong desire can be fueled by a genuine breaking point, which is either going to be a great sadness that leads to like acceptance of the reality that I'm in so that I can move forward, or accepting the reality I'm in and being pissed about it and then like moving forward. So typically it's one of the two. And typically in the past, it's been more so the anger, right? The audacity that they have to still have power over me. I'm taking that back. I'm taking that shit back. That's mine. My power. Thank you. How rude, you know? So yeah. That is my advice for acceptance, and that is my advice for taking back power. Because quite frankly, if you just want to logically deduce it all, I think it's very silly to give people in the past that are not presently here with you power over your current day decisions. So, anyways, for those of you who are group 2, the message from your spirit team is the Angel of Love. Angel of Love represents tender connections. Specifically, the book harkens that as much as you can be tender to other people and that you should be tender to other people, the way to be tender to others is by first being tender towards yourself. So that once you become tender towards yourself and your inner dialogue starts to change, that change internally then thus appears externally. And you start being tender with those around you. You start to exude tenderness to those you care about and love. Focus on forging connections and strengthening existing ones. Be compassionate towards yourself, and that compassion towards yourself, just like the tenderness, will flow outwards towards other people once you start to genuinely be compassionate towards yourself. So that is group 2. Group 2 is very much like y'all really got to start. This is going to sound so anime. Y'all got to believe in the power of friendship and love. The power of acceptance. Are there assholes in the world? Absolutely. You shouldn't have to be one of them. Group 2, how we feeling? All right, group 3, assemble! For those of you who have picked the lucky bag, it is your turn. We're going to start from the top and focus on what it is you need to let go of. For group 3, triumph of lies. Perchance to dream. Why are we lying to ourselves? Why are we believing the lies we tell ourselves? Why is it that we are not allowing ourselves to dream? Why is it that we've foregone all sense of hopes and loftiness and dreaminess and the ability to daydream and hope for more and want more? Triumph of lies, quite literally, because there is a skull here with the crown on its head. I do really feel, and when I say triumph of lies, I'm not necessarily saying that you're like some narcissistic person who tells a lot of lies to other people. I'm more so talking about the intrinsic operations of how you work. So it's like the brain worms are taking over and you're like lying to yourself and you're having this typically negative conversation towards yourself. And it's like, maybe you're lying about you being worthy of certain things. Maybe you're lying about how you're doing emotionally, right? Like, so maybe you're lying and thinking, oh, no, I'm fine. I don't really need to work on this. I don't really need to work on this. Right? You're lying to yourself. It's copium on crack, chat, is what Triumph of Lies is. With the perchance to dream, though, this is a really interesting card because we have 2 gentlemen here. One that is being, in my eyes, this looks like one person is putting another person to sleep, like they're laying the other person down. The one person who's being laid down is actually the one with the crown. And the one who is doing the laying is the one devoid of color. So the one that is being laid to rest with the crown and all the color, I feel like both people are you. And in the sense, it's like this negative version of who you are that has been created by the world around you and the experiences that you've gone through in this life is basically trying to put to sleep metaphorically speaking, trying to silence the inner child, the part of you that wants to dream, the part of you that wants to hope, the part of you that is a hopeless romantic, maybe even. Maybe you have lofty dreams and goals about silly things, and you're like, we cannot be silly in this lifetime. We have to be very serious, very adult, very methodical, very realistic. How dare we have dreams? This is not the time to dream. So these are the things that you have to let go of, is this overwhelming sense of copium and or brainworms, right? Also, hi, fish. Fish. Oh no, you're being called out. Sorry. And what you're also being asked to let go of is the constant or the consistent ways in which you deny yourself the pleasure and the honor of hoping and dreaming. Okay? Stop being your own buzzkill is what I'm hearing too. As for why this is a focal point in your life right now, is we have 8 of Cups upright, followed by 10 of Swords in reverse, and then 8 of Pentacles upright. Okay? Why is this your focus? For the 8 of Cups upright, this is quest, discontentment, and seeker. If you ask me, why are these 2 things the things that you need to let go of? Is quite honestly, I just feel like there's so much discontentment in group 3's life right now. And it's discontentment that's been like accepted. You know what I mean? And you've stopped seeking more for yourself. Because it's like, yeah, you're discontented, but like there's so much copium here that you're lying to yourself. You're like, no, I'm not discontent. I'm totally content. This is totally fine. Me killing off my hopes and dreams, totally fine. But you're being asked to quite literally face the discontentment that you feel and like go on a quest to change that. Seek change, right? 8 of Cups, quest, discontentment, seeker. It's time for you to seek change. It's time for you to beat the big bad boss. It's time for you to accept the main quest. 10 of Swords reversed, melodrama, denial, relapse. Why are these 2 things a focal point for you right now? It's because you're quite literally in denial of it all. You need to accept it. And you need not to be melodramatic about it. Because quite frankly, you could very much relapse into making this pattern worse and worse and worse. It's like a spiral. Not me staring at an open dock that could change my life if you follow through. Sheesh. Oop. Miss these spiritual spankings. I got you, homie. So forego the melodramatics of it all. Stop being melodramatic. Allow yourself to hope. Allow yourself to dream. There's nothing wrong with hoping and dreaming. Stop denying yourself the hopes and the dreams. Okay? 8 of Pentacles upright. Skill, diligence, steady progress. This is what I feel like this is what you guys will gain from actually allowing yourself to dream and to stop lying to yourself with copium. Is that you will become a very skilled person, you'll be very diligent, and you will have steady progress. Hi, Nirmac. And I get the sense that some of y'all here are like motivated by being the best version of yourself in a very physical results type of way. Like, I want to be able to measure my results type of way. And I feel like this is going to be the way for most of y'all because 8 of Pentacles does represent physicality, materialism and wealth and standard tarot, but in this deck specifically, it harkens to skill, diligence, and steady progress. But because of the earthy foundations of Pentacles, I do feel like this is going to be something that you guys are able to like actually analyze and look at, and therefore have some sort of results that you can actually look at. Measure this, pants grab. Exactly. Thank you. We have for your advice cards, Root Girl, the disowned self, Mind Space Full, Groupthink, Gathering Around, the Power of Community, and Winter's Dream, Gestation Period. All right, let me take some water and then we'll read from the book. All right. Let's get into it. So 46, Root Girl, the disowned self, hidden beauty, the need for acceptance and love. Root Girl sits shivering, unclean, and naked at the base of the tree of the self. She is unloved, unwanted, and shunned for her deformities. She has no home, but is safe burrowing underground to dwell near the deepest roots of this sacred tree. Who is she to you? Could this urchin be the one part of you that, reintegrated, can lead you to wholeness and true purpose? This is part of you, the embodiment of deeply flawed perception of your failures, manifesting as guilt and shame. When you project envy onto others or any emotion or instinct that you've learned to repress or deem unnatural, it's this homeless child self crying for attention, crying for acceptance, and crying for love. You want to lash out, ignore it, push it aside, all the while refusing to acknowledge this ugly quality as belonging to you. Ah, but if you would only look to the Root Girl's eyes and see the beauty and the unmet need, your unmet need, you would realize that this part of you asks for your compassion and understanding. This part of you was born when you were wounded and were conditioned to believe you are not whole, that your expression of self is somehow too much or too little. You might have even inherited this creature from your ancestors. However, it was this child's self came to be curled up at the roots of your sacred tree. It's time to welcome her into your heart. When you do, everything you've been searching for becomes illuminated, and your path lights up with renewed purpose. When you come to love Root Girl and claim her as your own, accepting her and your humanity, she is transformed just as you are. Then all manner of magic begins to arrive in abundant form. Look for the beauty. Talk about a journey of self-acceptance, chat. No more copiuming through lies. No more canceling out the hopes and the dreams. It is time to accept. Because I can see that with perchance to dream, you could potentially be sabotaging your dreams and hopes in an attempt to negate the chance for failure. Because if you failed, you'd have to show this side of you that you're not fond of, which is the side of you that is quote unquote the failure. But like once you accept that, oh my God, the way you can literally blossom. Mindful, groupthink. Keeping a clear mind, hurtful thoughts, groupthink. The human mind can be so many things: a prison, a latrine, a circus, a temple, a cave. It can be a place of restriction or a place of never-ending expansion. Right now, be careful of where you wander in your mind. The quality of your thoughts is key, as you're in a fertile time for full manifestation. You want to ensure that the seeds you plant will sprout and flourish into the life you seek to grow. Being mindful not to scatter weeds. It's easy to be influenced by others right now, too. Especially in our digital age, it's hard to protect yourself from the energy and the sheer amount of information bombarding you 24/7. If you allow all the fear and uncertainty to pollute your mind and emotions, you will fill yourself up with this negativity and then see more of it in the outer wild. Stay out of the gossip and other forms of groupthink. For when you cut another person down to their level due to their perceived mistakes or limits by your envy, you activate a lack for yourself. So fill yourself with thoughts of plenty. Imagine your universe unfettered by scarcity and alive with abundant hope and goodness. Be mindful of what your mind is full of and keep the faith. Good brings more good. Love brings more love. Gratitude brings more things to be grateful for. Talk about a need of changing perspective on how you view the world and view things around you. Gee golly, it's not like you guys have a negative view of the self and the world around you as is. Goodness gracious, it's not like that's the things you need to let go of. Gathering around the power of community, being safe and secure, allowing help. There are times when you need positive reinforcement from others. Perhaps your journey has made you tired just before reaching the proverbial finish line, where your friends await to cheer your arrival. Know this: you are not alone, regardless of whether you think you are. People gather around you to help you with your next step as you bring it forth from the cosmos into the beauty of life. There has never been another you before, and you have a unique relationship with your friends, family, communities, and all those who gather to help you in the unseen realms. Now is the time to allow assistance from others. Ask for it and trust that you will receive it. You are safe and secure right now in this moment, truly supported in your beautiful, amazing, complicated life. You are heard by angels, witnessed by the divine, and loved. Yes, loved. Now and always by life itself. Whatever your query, you will find the help you need to achieve what you desire, and you will not have to do this alone. And you can count on it. A bunch of wholesome cards. Y'all getting wholesomely spanked. Last advice card, Winter's Dream, gestation period, sanctuary, conscious awareness. The Winter's Dream is a summons to go within. Your life force longs to turn inward like the sap of trees returning to its roots. Cast your gaze toward the deep and hidden places in your heart. Come to rest again in the sanctuary and safety of your soul and be at peace, basking in your crystalline clarity in that quiet place. This is not hibernation. Do not fall asleep. Take your quiet, wakeful nature with you into stillness and know that you are replenishing your life force. Trust that the deeply buried seeds inside your soul, the ones that you planted even before you were born, are stirring softly, ready to be awakened with the spring. But do not try to rouse them early. Instead, surrender to the quiet of winter's dream. Winter's dream can lull you into a slumber where you can lose consciousness and become caught in a nightmare. Awaken. Awaken. Find that easy return to wakefulness that brings you clarity. This is the time to set your priorities in order, yet not act on any of them. Allow the clarity and transparency that comes with Winter's dream to permeate your heart and soul. The time for action will come later. Remember that all things are born of dreams, and your task is to wake up within the dream, to lucidly guide it to your chosen destination. Interesting that we have perchance to dream here, which is the denial of the dream, and the literal sense of like, hey, technically go to the dream, but don't fall asleep, but like be lucid in the dream. Interesting. Interesting. Accept yourself, be mindful of what your mind is full of. Lean on the people around you, for you are in fact loved and people would love to help you, and be in touch with your dreams, but don't fall asleep. Rest, do not act. In terms of what strengths group 3 should build, we have Celestite and Agerine. Agerine? Citrine, Agerine? Which Celestite strengths to build. It's okay, so it's interesting that we have gather around power of community followed by strength to build Celestite, because Celestite stands for being open to the relationships you have around you. Be open to the lessons and advice that even strangers have to offer you, because there is so much knowledge of wealth that you are surrounded by that you haven't tapped into. And that is your relationships, platonic, romantic, and even those new and on the way to you. So the spirits are communicating through those around you. Know that you are not alone. Pay attention to those around you, both currently and newcomers alike, and be open to the help/advice that they have to offer. Community is the most important thing right now. So if you don't have a sense of community, it's a time for you to build it and focus on it. And if you do have a sense of community, but you've maybe been a little bit of a hermit crab, or maybe you have friends, but you haven't really gotten to like that certain level of friendship where you like open up to them and like ask them for help and ask them for advice, maybe it's time you start doing that. All right, let me have some water before we get into our last card for strength. Checks out with your new heirs position for all the info you can get from them. Yeah. I think too, sometimes we feel like we know what, like we feel like we have mastered things and that we know what we know and that we know more than other people. But regardless of how masterful we are of a certain subject, people's perspective can add insight that we would never have otherwise. So be open. Even if you feel like you know it all, whether that's a positive thing or a negative thing. When it comes to Agerine, or Agerine, we have that it represents integrity, solidarity, reliability, consistency, and impeccability. So listen, this card specifically said, listen to the integrity you have. Do not be forced to say yes to things that don't align with your values. If your heart says no, let it speak and listen to it. Be consistent in standing your ground. For what foundations do you have to stand on? Basically, it's asking you, when the book specifically said be consistent on what you be consistent in this in standing your ground, it's also saying and hearkening to the idea of having a very stable foundation and having a very strong foundation. And when we're talking about integrity, reliability, impeccability, consistency, solidarity, it's like I feel like solidarity here is more so like this foundation needs to be built from your own hands, not necessarily relied on others for this foundation in specific. It's not to say that you can't have help, but the foundation should be something that you can stand on because you've built it. You know what I mean? Whereas if you've built it off of other people, once those people leave, it's like you then lose the ability to stand on business, so to speak, in that way. So the book also harkens to the fact that you don't need to be abrasive in your approach to standing on business, aka standing your ground. But don't be a pushover either. Find the peaceful approach, be the middle ground. So you don't need to be like a bitch about things and to be aggressive and to bark and bark people away, right? You don't need to be aggressive like that, but you don't need to be a pushover. It's simply learning how to state your boundaries and follow through with them and abide by them. That's what I feel like is truly the foundation here. And in order to successfully deploy that foundation, you need to be able to establish those boundaries yourself and to consistently abide by those boundaries yourself. And if you realize that somebody is not abiding by those boundaries that you have respectfully, calmly presented, then it's time to assess your next approach because, quite frankly, keep your peace. And if Celestite is to build community and you have somebody that once you set a boundary with becomes aggressive towards you, that's really not the community that you want to have. People who genuinely care for you and people who genuinely enjoy you as a human being, platonically or romantically, and respectfully, are going to understand your boundaries. They're not going to push you. They're not going to not listen to your boundaries. So if you're feeling like somebody's not listening to your boundaries, it's time to assess whether that's somebody you want in your community or not. In terms of what your spirit team wants to communicate to you, congratulations to group 3. Truly the lucky, lucky bag. Truly the fortune cat. Because we have financial constraints in reverse. Which means that financial constraints are actually being lifted for you. So if you are feeling like financially restricted, financially confined, and that money is hard to come by, the spirit team wants to let you know that abundance is quite literally on its way to you. Money is on the way. Just don't get too cavalier with it. Don't be too cocky. Don't start spending all the money. Don't start doing financially not smart things, you know. Invest it where you need to for your retirement. Save where you need to. Pay off bills and debts where you need to. But spend the money wisely. The card also harkens that you will have more freedom to take risks as the financial abundance starts flowing back in. So for those of you who have projects that you've been wanting to work on, or maybe risky business ventures that you've wanted to take part in, know that you will have the money to follow through on those desires. You just don't need to be cavalier about it. But congratulations to group 3. That was your reading. Definitely learn to accept yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Stop denying yourself the hopes and dreams. And you'll be surprised at the abundance that comes your way when you learn to rely on others and depend on others, as well as allowing your inner child to dream. So these were the readings of what do you have to let go of, why you need to let go of it, the lessons or the advice that you are supposed to take and listen to, the strength you are supposed to develop while you are letting these things go, and ultimately a message from your spirit team regarding everything. So for those of you on YouTube, I hope you enjoyed the reading. Feel free to comment. I'd love to hear what pile you got and how it resonated with you. If you felt like a lot of it was accurate, some of it was accurate, or maybe it was inaccurate. I love the feedback. Let me know what you thought. And if you'd like another pick a pile reading, feel free to suggest a question, and it may be the next thing we analyze and answer for our pick a pile readings. So until then, YouTube, bye. Chat, say bye to YouTube. Say bye, 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 bye. Bye, YouTube. We'll see you later, YouTube. It was nice to see you. Thanks for watching all the way into the end. Bye, bye, bye.